Okay, I've been having requests to talk about the three waves of ascension. For those of you that have been following my videos, you know that I've been talking about this for a while, how there are marked timings that are allowing for heightened waves of consciousness expansion, particularly into fifth dimensional consciousness, which is just a new baseline level of frequency that we collectively are moving towards as we are awakening generally within the collective consciousness of humanity. So the timing around the New Year's portal was one of these timings. The first wave of ascension, the second wave is March to April of this year, so 2026, and the third wave is September. None of that has shifted. How you can know if you have shifted into like a fifth dimensional level of embodiment, and this is so funny, this is actually one of my favorite parts about talking about this stuff, is that we as human beings have such an externalized view of reality. We have such an externalized expectation of shifts that are coming. And so when we're talking about like moving into a higher embodiment or a new baseline level of consciousness, some of the shifts are so subtle that we don't give enough credit to them as they're coming in. So if you were in that first wave of ascension, you probably noticed a dropping off and a letting go of your expectations and of your attachment to certain outcomes. Likely 2025 pretty much just beat that out of you. It beat out your attachment to outcome through consecutive disappointment. And like the thing with human beings is like we're gonna repeat a cycle enough times that it's so painful, or we have done it so many times that we finally have enough clarity to finally move out of it. And so what we likely experienced, and especially if you were in that first wave, was like it's no longer a detachment with this kind of like subconscious attachment where it's like, I still want that, but I'm going to pretend that I don't. It's more like you actually just have stopped projecting into the future. Or you maybe notice now that when you connect in with future experiences or potentials for future experiences, they're not as emotionally charged as they were before. They maybe aren't causing as much anxiety, they aren't causing as much stress, as much rumination, stuff like that. So again, it's very subtle. It's not like, okay, you've ascended and now you're in a totally different version of reality. Likely your reality is going to begin to shift because you have shifted, because that's how energy works. When the internal reality shifts, the external has to shift to match it, because we're just operating in an illusory mirror, basically. This whole thing is designed and set up for us to be able to look really clearly at our own patternings. And everybody's reality is so completely different. It's just that when we agree on a higher level to interact with these things together, it's happening from a certain level of consciousness. So that's why when there's like a collective shift or collective waves, we are experiencing it as a cohort of individuals, because there is a group of individuals that are operating in these new frequencies, which means that we get to basically create a new agreed upon reality, or an agreed upon version of reality together. So we're going to notice that, and probably continue to notice the integration and shifts from that. Like I said in my previous video, what we're going to notice is like there's clarity coming from that, because, and this is why so many spiritual traditions prescribe presence, because when we are in presence, we're not in future projection and we're not in attachment to past, future, we're just in the now. And when we are existing in the nowness, then we allow reality to come to us and through us with a lot more ease. And that's how we can really tap into our internal sense of alignment. We can connect in with like, what is a yes for us? What feels authentic to us and our nature? And in that we can follow that with more clarity, follow the internal promptings with more clarity, and listen and make decisions from that space, which is operating from that new level. So just to clarify for one last time, the individuals that potentially moved in through the first wave are likely experiencing a more surrendered version of their experience, probably more present, not attached to outcome in the same way. We still have desires, we still you know, are feeling things. It's not that we have like moved out of our uncomfortable energies. It's just that fear is less prominent, or when fear comes up, we don't take meaning from it in the same way. So those are the kind of internal shifts that individuals experience that move through that first wave. That is it for today's video. I love you all, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.